Silver has entered a parabolic phase. That the kind of move that grabs attention, accelerates super quickly, and it forces everyone to have an opinion. But parabolic moves are emotional by nature. All the market participants are on the same side, and that's a sign of imbalance. So when markets move too far, too fast, they eventually and always run out of steam. This is not sustainable. And when that happens, the reaction that follows can be often as violent as the move itself. So whether silver continues higher in the short term or begins to unwind, the goal remains the same for us. It's understand the context, respect your risk tolerance, and avoid getting pulled at the wrong time. That's exactly what this analysis is about. Staying aligned with structure instead of the noise. So remember to subscribe for more insights like this. Let's dive in. All right, starting with the analysis of silver. So as you can see, we had a third week in a row to the upside, and you just can see the rate at which this is going, right? We extracted from this very large base there, upside, consolidating above, break there, that was around June this year, and we had a first little step here of a staircase, and then that thing started to really climax, right? Correction, and then boom, now it's really vertical. Just look, right? Fairly horizontal, accelerate, pause, accelerate even further, right? So, for those of you who are in position, what does that tell you? Well, the thing is, a move like that is not sustainable, right? Even, this, which was not as steep, you can see we had a sharp correction. We had a pause here, a doji, and then the following week we had a sharp correction. So moves that tend to go in only one direction without any break, any pause, they run out of steam. It's healthy to have pauses. It's healthy for people to take profits. You have a turnover, you have more people joining in, buying into stocks or the asset which we're looking at, and that's healthy, right? Here, however, we had a massive week 2 weeks ago, right? I think that was 20% within a single week. Then, we had another week with a gap there and another very strong week, right? And that is not sustainable. So what does that mean for us as investors? Well, it's what I've mentioned before, right? You need to have a plan to account for such scenarios, right? And that's what I do in my training, right? Whether we're going to have a slow, kind of staircase, a slow, steady uptrend, I have a way to manage my trades like that. If we're going to have a start of a climax run a bit like this, I have another way to account for that, and I'm going to follow the trend in a different way, right? I have to stick closer to the price because it might snap back in the direction that I don't want, right? And then, if it's climaxing even further, like here, right? This is extremely steep. You need to have a way to account for that as well. And that's what I use in my trading plan, right? Whether we are in depending on the scenario we're in, I'm going to adapt basically mental stops or physical stops, right? So that's what I do. And well, here definitely silver is pushing hard. So if you're in position, nothing goes to the moon forever. I think crypto have given a lot of lessons throughout the years. And yeah, precious metal, gold, silver, definitely to the upside. Very nice bull run at the moment. Just be ready. Be ready that, if they start to snap back, here, yeah, we did pause, we corrected, and then we shot up even higher. There's no guarantee that this happens again. That is why you just need to have a plan that you're comfortable with. Know where your stop gonna be, or a key level at which, all right, if this, falls back at or below that level, I'm out, right? Or take partial profit. You need to have a plan to account for that. Otherwise, if you're just betting or hoping that this is gonna go to the moon, you're probably gonna be sorry when you'll understand that, this is not coming back. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give. That's what I do. Have a plan to account for such scenarios. Moving on with gold. So gold, we had also another beautiful week of upside. And well, we are still very much in our scenario. Bull run, bull market is not as aggressive as silver. And here we are building a beautiful consolidation. That's what we drew 2 weeks back. I was sick last week, so I did not do any video. However, you can see that our scenario here is still very much at play. So we can just, slide that by a week. And that's what we're doing now. We are revisiting the previous high. And what I'd love to see, what could generate a new position on gold, would be a multi-month consolidation with going sideways. We are staying below that level, the volatility contracts, and then we have a clean break. So I'd love to see that, and the next week will tell us. Moving on to Bitcoin. So yeah, Bitcoin had basically a couple weeks of pause. As you can see, the past basically month and a half, we had this huge correction from around 125, 130,000 all the way down to 80,000. And yeah, we are still above that key level right there. And so it looks like we are definitely, for me, right, it looks like we are definitely ranging now in a broader range market and not as much of an aggressive bull market. So yeah, the party might be over for now, but might not be over overall. I think what I'd like to see is what's going to happen over the next few months for Bitcoin, right? We definitely should revisit the highs, and hopefully, we're gonna build a beautiful pattern or something that's gonna again, have pressure, cook under key level, and then burst to the upside. That's what will give us a really good opportunity to enter a trade, to place a specific stop, and to risk accordingly, right? Unless I see that, I'm definitely not bullish on Bitcoin. And again, all these are not predictions, right? This is what I see. This is what I assume would happen. It's just one of the possible scenarios. I am just reading and reacting. I am not predicting. That's all it is about, right? And that's how I trade. I don't trade in anticipation. I wait for confirmation, breakouts, and clear indication that this is definitely a stacking odds on my side, and I have all the ingredients that I'm looking for, and I'm willing now to bet some of my money, a portion of my money, on that symbol. So Bitcoin consolidating. We have a little level there which seems to be blocked under, so let's see. Probably this is still very much in play. We'll see if we're gonna go lower, if we're gonna get stuck there a little bit. We will see over the next few months. Analysis of Ethereum. So yeah, it's a bit of a similar story on Ethereum, right? We had a week of pause as well. As you can see, there's not a lot of momentum to go back up after this huge decline we've had since September, October. We've held fairly well there at this key level, right? The blue rectangle there. So, a bit of a similar story here. I'm expecting a really multi-month consolidation. I'm not expecting a lot of steam. I think there's quite a bit of indecision. So yeah, it's going to play tennis basically under this level. And that's what I'd love to see, right? Time will tell, but right now, definitely not bullish on Ethereum as well. Analysis of XRP. Well, it's a bit of a similar story here as well. As a reminder, XRP extracted from this huge triangle, that started building since 2018. Extraction, huge run up, and now this is the first fairly significant consolidation since we extracted from that triangle. So yeah, I can just slide this down, and same thing a bit here. We are expecting I'm expecting a multi-month consolidation, right? If this started to run in a straight line, that wouldn't be necessarily good, right? It's unsustainable. It's, I really want to see the pressure build and volatility contract for explosion, right? These are the best, in my opinion, based on what I've traded and tried out strategies and so on. These are the best thing to trade, right? So, yeah, patience will be required to see what happens there. Definitely just, looking at it week by week, and that's all. Moving on to the stock market now with the SP 500. So yeah, we had a beautiful rebound for the past 2 weeks after a full month of decline. The end of November and early December was beautiful for the stock market. Let me zoom this in a bit. So yeah, we are ranging. Definitely the money management is now in a range, but they are still, the screeners are still fairly full. So yeah, there are still opportunities out there. Here, basically, I would turn back on the aggressive mode of risk management if we break that key level, right? So I would expect that, we might range a little bit, between these two levels before breaking to the upside. And the next few months will tell, but definitely still bullish on the stock market. We're in a bull market still, this correction, if we compare to like Bitcoin or the cryptos, is really not that significant, right? That's healthy, that's good. We've been going in a fairly straight line since April, right? The rebound of the Trump tariff crisis, and this is healthy, this is good. A bit of a pause, a bit of correction. NASDAQ, yeah, it's a similar story here. I'm gonna move actually here. We might have found bottom there, we will see. So similar story on NASDAQ. We had a beautiful rebound, and yeah, we'll see what happened over the next few weeks. We might be playing a bit of tennis before breaking. And you see, right, this is what we had in the past, right? This is what consolidations look like. Here, there was a V bottom, and there you see volatility contracts break. In the past as well, big cup, volatility contracts break. So yep, that's all. This is what I'd like to see, and time will tell us. Analysis of the CAC 40, the French index. So yeah, the CAC 40 is still ranging. We had a beautiful extraction of that huge pattern there. As beautiful, was very clear. We had a pullback. We initially thought all right, that's it, we're gonna have a run up, and no, we are still going sideways. So I identified another level there, which in my opinion should be cleared in order to confirm and have a more aggressive risk management on opportunities on the French index. That's not the case now. So, we might have a bit of tennis again before a break. Let's see over the next few weeks and months. Analysis of DAX. And yeah, DAX as well. Everything is kind of it's kind of neat because our initial plans or scenario, what we envision, what might be the most likely scenario, are all happening actually. So again, I'm not trying to predict. I'm just reading what's in front of me, and based on what we observe, usually I'm expecting scenario A, B, or C, and so far, all of our drawings are still valid, right? As you can see, DAX is still holding, right? We found bottom there at that level. We had a beautiful bounce for past 3 weeks, and we are still ranging. Very, very tight, beautiful consolidation on an index. So it would be very interesting to see a clean break to the upside of that key level there, and be aggressive again on the German index opportunities. And finally, closing up with the dollar index. So the dollar index had actually 3 weeks of decline. So this I had a initial level around there. And initially when I thought okay, we might have a break there and an upside on the dollar appreciating against the euro as well. Well, it turned out that was a false breakout. It turned back down. So that means that we might need more time. We might need more time before breaking that level, right? So we might see price. That would be beautiful, actually, cup and handle, such as this. That would be beautiful. Cup and handle, tighter consolidation on the base toward the end, and a break. Yeah, that's the classic that I love to trade. Of course, I might not, take position. I wouldn't take position on the dollar, but it might, right? That might be a signal of, if you're holding different currencies, that might be a signal for you to, change a bunch of saving some money you have stashed aside for USD. So then they appreciate, right, over the next few months or years. So let's see. This is, we're still ranging, but I'd like to see basically what happened. Are we gonna go sideways in such a manner with a reduction of volatility, contracting, breaking, or are we gonna drop deeper and this is then gonna last maybe longer? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And that's all for this week. So thanks a lot for watching. As always, subscribe for more insights like this. I have other videos as well where I share a bit more about how I trade, how I screen, my routine, the kind of opportunities I look for. So yeah, by all means, subscribe and drop your email as well on my website, if you're interested in learning that. And I'm planning to share more about that in the future. So, if you want to keep up to date with the latest, drop your mail as well on the website and subscribe. Thank you. See you soon.